Good evening, and welcome to another edition of African Americans and Africans, the Think Show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so called African American didn't find his and her way to America in the trunk of the ship. I'm your host, the Indigenous One. And in this season, that we like to be in, that we like to worship, we follow other people's cultures because number one, we haven't even really came up with anything of our own. We're always into what other people do. We want to celebrate their holidays. We want to do what they want to do. We want to love everybody simply because you have no love for yourself. You want things that you've done in the world, on this planet, where you are. We don't put a flag in the ground and say this is what we did, and then we celebrate it and have festivals and holidays for that. Matter of fact, we forget them. We think it's cool. We don't. You ask a person anything that the indigenous people of America have done. I'm not saying this is everybody. I'll say this is 90%. Which means 10% of the people understand, the other 90 really don't care what it got to do with them. They got to get into this other culture. And one of these cultures that we're getting into is this culture what everybody's about to celebrate. And, this is what the African American does. See, if you ask the African American what's the holiday that their people have, that their people came up with, that their people put out because they did some fabulous things and they want the rest of their people to know that this can be done. What is the African American? What do they say to that? I want to say hello to everybody in the chat. Copper colored lifestyles 94. What's happening, Orlando? I'm glad you guys can hang with me tonight. I know it's the holidays. I know you can be out getting that eggnog recipe down. It's Christmas. See, these are the things that we celebrate. And so what I have planned now, and what you guys can see if you're looking at it, go to that channel called BitChute and see, you got people there. It's an alternative from Facebook because, come on, Facebook is, is shit, really horrible. But different people have come up with different platforms where you can just say, come on, freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. What is that? I mean, what is that? You can say whatever because you're a part of this. You're a part of this planet. You're a leaf on a tree. You have something to say. You're feeling something. You're seeing something. You know something. You know. But you don't have the freedom of speech to say it. See, this is the African American. When somebody tells you this is what you are, that's how you behave. That's how you act. This is what you are. And this is what the African American is not they didn't create themselves. They don't come from anywhere. They don't have a origin. They don't even think, they can't even tell their children that. Mom, where do we come from? Where is Africa, America? And you should see the look on the parent's face when the child asks that. The African American has only been on the planet for what? 35, 40 years. So when you talk to an African American, and seriously, I spoke to a Japanese woman who had a Negroid boyfriend at the time, and asked her, how far can you go back in your family lineage? She said 600 years. So her boyfriend who was with her, I asked him, and you know what the Negro would say, I don't know. This is why we worship other people. This is why we celebrate other people's holidays. This is why we do the African American, I'm sorry, and I'm going to say we. This is why the African American does what he's told. He doesn't have a culture of his own. If you ask the African, so talking to a brother, and he says, we do have a holiday. I was like, what? He was like, Kwanzaa. For real, cuz? Your holiday is filled with traditions, beliefs, props from other cultures that you took from other cultures and made yours with. What is that, dude? What is that? Nothing that you've done, you've picked from other cultures, and you had many of the Negroes go with it. This is the African American. So what you're seeing go across the screen right now is just this is a channel on BitChute, and like I say, BitChute is kind of, people can give you history. It's not with stuff like Facebook would ban, all those things would ban. That's that corporate stuff. There are a couple of other platforms where people put out stuff, and everybody should check it out. Just don't be stuck on one thing. If you're trying to learn, go learn from what the people think and do in Norway, because these are some of your senators. These are some of the politicians that you vote for. This is their cultures. This is what they do. This is what they believe in. And the African American, or what you call the African American, who has no culture, has nothing. This is why many of these shines are going to be celebrating New Year's in winter. See, this is what I mean. This is how we're trained. This is how we're trained to do things. You don't, the New Year's, when everything starts over, when everything grows. Winter is when everything dies. Right? See, the Negro doesn't see that. He doesn't look at it like that. Boss, what are we going to celebrate now? That's the African American mindset. And I know many of you will be mad. Why you talk about us like that? This is what you do. This is what you teach your children. So what are your grandchildren going to be like? Just as dumb as you, right? We won't stop it. We won't say, hey, this doesn't work. Everything that we put our energy into always backfires on the African American, right? So check this out. So copper colored lifestyle. She's right. It is Satan claws. We're into things that we don't even know what we're into. I would employ that you go check out this on BitChute. You go check this out on BitChute. So what we're going to talk about today is this thing with what's coming up now, what everybody's about to get into is this Christmas. And this is what I'm saying. This is what we teach our kids. I mean, what kind of asshole parent are you to teach your kids this shit? I mean, really? I mean, you should just tell them the raw, unadulterated truth. Isn't that? I mean, what we should be doing? Wouldn't you want me if I'm your kid's teacher at a school? Wouldn't you want me to tell your kid the truth? But you would send your kid to a place where you know the kids is bullshitting them. And how do you know that they bullshitting your kids? Because they bullshitted you, didn't they? Didn't they? This is why the African American gets what he gets. Something that happened to himself, he'll send his and her kid, to the same thing. And then to try to come up with a lie or a bullshit to say why they did it. No, you did it because you wanted them demonic persons that they trained you to be. Amen. Right? Be honest. See, we can't keep saying people did this to us because you lying to yourself because you knew you was part of it. You helped. You were part of it. You wanted to do it for what? Money. Normally, you can get the African American, black, Negro, colored to do anything for a quarter. Right? Be honest. Come on, don't lie. So we get too much of that. Everything in history that they did that to us. You were part of it. Like today, aren't there black police officers? But you call black police officers? Why come you never hear them talk about all these kids getting killed? And how come the Black Police Officers Association Club, whatever you want to call it, why don't we hear their voices? Why aren't we hearing from the Negro nurses and doctors in this pandemic? Why aren't we hearing them? Ask yourself. Come on, be honest. Be honest. Damn, don't just your whole life is a lie. You won't even be truthful for 10 seconds. The whole life is a lie. Everything the African American does is a lie. What? The tennis shoe business? The tennis shoes? Negroes, you can make your own shoes and then employ what? Hundreds of thousands of people? No. The Negro, the the beauty, the Asian beauty selling weaves to Negroes is about a $50 billion a year industry. You can find no way to turn that profit to yourself? No. But they'll argue with you and get mad. But you ask a simple question. That's the African American Negro. And you have the nerve to celebrate somebody else's holiday. I realize that you don't have no time. All these nations on you, living amongst you on your land, they bring their time stamps over here. Where's yours? You follow theirs. This is what the African American does. Right, wrong. Come on. This is not for the people who did it and love it and nigga, shut up. I can do what I want to do. This ain't for you. What we say as a nation of people, shouldn't it resonate throughout the world? Should your people just be on this news clock, whatever somebody say, being advertised to, being told what's good, being told what to eat, being told what's good for you? And many of us, we go along with it. We don't care. We do whatever that TV says. And Rebel told you, get the TV out your house, man. It doesn't help you in life at all. Amen. Right? Isn't that what the preacher should be telling you? You have a TV and you turn it on and watch it every day. What are you taking in? I'm not talking about the images on the screen. What are you taking in? What is that pulse? What is that light? What is that spirit emitting from that television? And you soak it up. Do this. This is a cold exercise. Do this. If you have a TV, if you don't, you obviously can't do it. This is why we say you got to get the TV out of the house. Because, like I said, to go check out Rebel's piece on the TV in the house. Cool, real cool stuff. If you have a room, if you have a bedroom, cut the TV on in there, cut all the lights off, leave the door ajar. Don't close it all the way, just close it, where it's about 2 inches open. And check out all the lights emitting, all the movements that you see on your walls. This is you're not paying attention to it. Just, occasionally walk by the room and check out what's bouncing off your walls. It bounces off of you too when you're right in front of it and you're picking up all that stuff and you don't even know what it is. This is what I'm saying. We got to know what we're doing. We have to know what we're doing. That TV, ask yourself this: how much of your life does that TV take? Where you're just sitting down in front of it every day of your life. for 10 minutes a day. All those 10 minutes added up through your lifetime. How long is that? What could you have done instead of just sitting, looking into an empty box? And you can't even remember half the shit that you watch on it. How much of your life does that box take up? So, back to the Christmas thing. You're in winter time. We're coming up approaching winter time. If you look at the seasons and how everything changes, you realize that everything moves in cycles. This is one of the things that we have to know. It's not always hot all the time. Water is not always plentiful all the time. See, we live on a planet that before the planet is destroyed, the planet will get rid of your ass. You see, it will sink. There's part of the world there's underwater vast oceans where there's land under there. You can see that when you go to the Caribbean. You can see that when you go to Central America. You know, if you got a keen eye, you can look at the earth and tell that's happened before. Why? Because the people not doing their part on the planet. So then we have to start over again. So that's what you hear about this great reset and all that. That's what that means. You got to go because you're not being helpful to the planet. You're not giving back what the planet gives you. That's basically it. That's basically it. See, you walk in, you can do stuff, you can use what you've learned and make it possible here while you living on earth. What you say, something you came up with and thought, you can make it happen here on earth. What'd you come up with? What did your kids say to you to make you think that you can do that? You're a part of this. You can create anything. But the African American chooses not. The African American chooses to do what other people tell them to do. Period. Don't they? Yeah. Don't care about what your great grandmamas and great granddaddies, what they did, what was their farming techniques, how did they produce their food, how did they make their clothes, how did they make their shoes. The African American Negro doesn't care about any of that. They care about, are the Asians bringing some more Nikes over? Are the Asians making us Nikes? Because we're not going to build. No, they're going to. And you got what? College, and then have audacity to have colleges and universities. What have they produced? What do the so-called HBCUs produce? Slaves for other cultures, right or wrong? Right. Since they came into existence, the HBCUs, they haven't came up with a refrigerator, a stove, a new nothing. They do what they boss tell them to do, don't they? Yeah, you agree. You know it. I mean, some of you guys are lie and cry, but you know it's the truth. So this is what I'm saying. What the African American, um, that's the only reason they're here. So we're in the middle of winter. We're about to come up on this pagan, all this stuff that everybody's getting ready for, spending money for, putting snow, putting cotton on their roof, putting cotton on their roof and on their grass. Come on, y'all. Putting cotton on their roof and grass to pretend like it's a time of year. It don't even, come on. This is what we do. This is why this is the African Americans celebrating other cultures. So you see the African American about 30 years ago, some of the biggest worship, I don't know what you call them, came up with a song that "We Are the World." The Negroes that are from America, they were some of the main participants in that. Came up with the idea. This is what you have now. You have every nation in the world represented on American soil, American soil. You have every nation in the world coming over here to feed off the Americans. Right? I mean, you go to California, you go to California, you have little Bangladesh, little Somali. Where's little African America? Where's little African America? Come on, where is that? This is why the African American celebrates other people's culture, because they have none of their own. Come on. Many don't care. Celebrate I mean, nothing their foreparents did. They don't even think about that. So you've been seeing what's been going on today. They're trying to get everybody to get a bio weapon shot in their arm. What you call African Americans, they'll go for it. They're into it. They're with what other people tell them to do. They don't think of things themselves, what they've done themselves. They don't do that. They just do what they're told. That's an African American. They don't have no brain to think for themselves because their brains was created and crafted by someone else. Now, you can pretend like I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, that nigga just talking shit. Now, this is the reality. This is how you train animals. Domesticated animals, do what? What others tell them to do. They don't do what's innately what they're trained to not live it how they're supposed to, what they were created to do. They're trained to walk around that square that they living in. That's the African American. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. That's what the African American does. And everybody goes with it. I want to get patted on the head next. So this documentary that's being, that they have on BitChute, check it out. And this is how they do that. This is what they do. This is their culture. I mean, this is what we do. We'll teach our kids this. Many of you, come on, be honest, is getting ready for being this jolly season. Can you imagine what we give away? We celebrate other people's stuff because they celebrate it on top of your grandmamas and granddaddies, and you shines, go for it. Damn. So that's basically all I really wanted to share. I just wanted to share. Go, you guys go check this out. Go check out this. It's on BitChute, and you see the title at the top: Vax 2 documentary, The People's Truth: Dangerous Vaccine Kids, Autism, and Side Effect. Check out. That's probably not the video that was playing before this. Check out these things, y'all, because a lot of times, many of us, we're into this. We're into this. We get our kids all kind of games they play with, and you know them games fucking up kids' minds. But you still go get it thinking you doing something cool. You're not. Negroes have been in front of video games for how long? Many of them think it's the thing to do. While the air you breathe is being sucked right from under you. Pay attention to what's going on. You're here for a reason. You're a leaf on the tree. Every single one of you, you're here for a reason. You wanted to get back here to do something. I suggest that you do it. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Peace.